sports fans? This is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live to talk about the riches of quarterbacks in the transfer portal or going into the transfer portal. Of course, it doesn't open until January the 2nd. So we know all of these quarterbacks that are saying they're going in the transfer portal. It's a whole bunch of players at that quarterback position. I got my man SEC Sean of the SEC Sean podcast with us this evening. How you feeling, SEC Sean?
Pretty good. It was a rough weekend, but we'll survive it and move forward. But doing pretty good. I hope everybody had a good weekend and is gearing up for these Christmas holiday.
Yeah, I've had a good weekend, and I'm doing pretty good today. We also got our man T1 of City League TV in the house with us, ready to talk about these quarterbacks that are going into the portal. How you feeling, T1?
Man, I'm still up under the weather, man. I haven't pulled up out of whatever this is that has had a stronghold on me for the past week, but my voice, at least my voice is coming back a little bit. And I mean, I feel better, but it's still some stuff going on and something just ain't right around here. Other than that, I'm blessed.
Well, at least you got a long break where you can rest and get ready to get back into 100% so that you can get ready for them kids because they won't be waiting on you. You already know that.
Well, I like to have some energy while I'm away from these kids. Just being down and not moving around and doing much isn't too exciting.
I know that's right. Let's talk about some of the names that are out there in the transfer portal. We got Brandon Sorsby out of Cincinnati. We got Dylan Raiola out of Nebraska. DJ Lagway out of Florida. Kenny Minchie out of Notre Dame. Aiden Childs out of Michigan State. Sam Levitt out of Arizona State. Bo Prabula out of Missouri. Josh Hoover out of TCU. That's just to name a few. There's still about another 10 guys out there coming from other schools who are out there or saying they're going into the portal. Some huge names. A lot of quarterbacks are going to be changing teams. It's going to be very, very interesting. What do y'all think about those names that I just mentioned? Is there anybody on that list that's at the top of your list of guys that you think that a team should really, really go after?
I think it depends on the team. I think if you've got you're not like at the top echelon of your conference, but you just need a little bit more. Somebody like a Lagway or a Levitt could bring some excitement to the fan base. Even the kid Nolan out of South Carolina now. I mean, but if you're one of the upper echelon programs, most of them have a quarterback already. So it's kind of, what do you need? Do you need somebody to push a young guy like an A&M, like we've been talking before? We need somebody to push Marcel Reed, but who is that? Is it Levitt? I mean, it's not. I mean, Lagway hasn't done much more than Reed has done. He's probably done less than Marcel Reed has done. But so how do you go about getting that quarterback? What are you looking for is what you're going to need. Don't forget the key in there is that one kid out of North Texas too. Now I think he's going to wind up at Oklahoma State with his coach. But that kid put up some crazy numbers.
Yeah, what do you think about those names, T1?
I think this is I think that college football is turning into a complete clown show, circus, musical chairs. You never know what your team is going to look like next year. You never know who your quarterback is going to be. You got these quarterbacks hopping from team to team to team to team like little professional prostitutes. And I just think it's becoming a joke. They are going to have to stop the madness just to be able to just get up and just move because things aren't going right. That's just not the way that life goes, and we know that, and we're giving these young men a false ideal of, hey, if life isn't working out over here, go try it again over there, and it's just a big musical chair, and I'm not liking it. I'm not feeling it none. I'm a guy that believes in I'm a guy who believes in commitment, and there's no commitment out here from nobody. So this sporting thing has just is no longer an amateur sport. It's full on professional, and I'm not liking it.
Clip it. Man, I'm hoping that AI picks that up because I like what you just said right there about some of these players. I also like what SEC Sean said about, listen, it depends on the team. These guys that are in the portal is not going to be a good fit for every team scheme, the offensive coordinator that they have on board, the style of play that they play. Some of these guys just will not be a good fit. And to your point, T1, it feels like, listen, I committed to this school. Things didn't quite go the way it needed to go. Maybe I need to go over here because I want to try to compete for a championship. Maybe I want to go over here because they can offer me more money. It just doesn't sit well, man. It seems like guys don't want to necessarily compete at the level that they need to. I mean, I understand that it's a business now, and these guys are trying to take full advantage of the business aspect of it. But I think to your point, sometimes you got to understand that the business is going to be there. The reality is you got to build your character. And doing some of the things that these guys are doing is starting to hurt your character, which is more important than the business aspect of it. Because you can have all the business sense in the world, but if your character ain't no good, eventually your business is going to go out the window. So I like both points that were made on that. Let me ask y'all this.
Hey, no, let me ask a question real quick, Rob.
I honestly wish that.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What could you imagine if our girlfriends and wives just woke up one day and said, you know what? I think I want to go try me another man. I'm gonna go get me a man with some bigger. I saw a man yesterday had some bigger muscles and, you know, 2 or 3 more extra dollars, and, you know, house was better and all of that. Like, what if they just woke up and just said, I'm just gonna go try somebody else? That's just the vibe that I'm getting with all of this transfer portal stuff, and it's completely turning me off.
My theory is, yeah, he got bigger muscles and more money, but he's also, you don't know if he's gonna beat the hell out of you either.
That's that chance that they willing to take. That's the chance that they're willing to take. Like, look at Aaron Nolens. He was the heir apparent. Aaron Nolens was both. They had him claimed as the next quarterback to come into Ohio State. That was 3 years ago. This kid hasn't sniffed much of nothing, and there was one day when he woke up, he thought that he was next in line at The Ohio State University in that quarterback position, and it just hasn't panned out like that.
Well, I mean, go back. There's one before then, too. This kid been to about 7 different schools. He was like the heir apparent. Everybody said he was going to be the next, Tom Brady and stuff. Tate Martell.
Martell, I knew that's who you was coming with. Yeah, he was him. He was supposed to be him.
Yeah, it was him, wasn't it? Now, he like working at McDonald's or something now. I don't even know. But, man, I think this is what my wish is, and it'll never happen. Get rid of you transfer one time. You get one free transfer.
That's
if you transfer a second time, you lose a year of eligibility. Done.
Yeah.
I want people that are going to commit to the university I support because they want to be at that university, not because that university can give them $1 million and your university can only give them 200,000. Now,
Hey, I like the thing that I believe they said it was an NIL contract for one of the Georgia players. They transferred up out of there, and they said, "Hey, yo, we gonna need that $400,000 that we were planning to spend on your NIL deal, buddy. We gonna need that back. I need to see more of that. I need to see more of that money being snatched away in some type of way, penalized, so that you're not just jumping from school to school."
yeah, there's got to be. I mean, this is ridiculous. They're talking about over something like 1,500 to 2,000 kids going to be in the portal, at least over that number. What are we doing?
But guess what? About 700-800 of them gonna end up without a scholarship. They gonna be in trouble. They don't talk
Right.
about that sad part.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Let me ask y'all this before we move to the next quarterback question. Do y'all think it's okay for a player to hit the transfer portal who just is not seeing the field at that school and he's already been recruited over? He's probably not going to see the field. Are you okay with that guy transferring as opposed to this guy started for this university? He was their quarterback, but he's out there looking for something better. So he decides to leave, but he's the starting quarterback for that school. How do y'all feel about that? What's your thoughts on that?
it's terrible. We teaching these kids that hard work. You don't have to work hard. Just move around till you get where you want what you want. What happened to working hard? What happened to earning something? And
Yeah.
I hate that. I mean, this goes back to the whole. Here's a participation trophy. Here's a ribbon because you tried. No, to hell with you. We lost. You don't get no damn ribbon.
Yeah, I'm cool with somebody not getting now. And that's your one time. You're not getting enough playing time. You third on the depth chart. You know, they just brought in a whole another 2-3 players at your position on a new recruiting class. Absolutely, you should be able to get up out of there. But that's your one time.
Right.
If you get caught in the same situation and you just can't find your way into that 1 or 2 deep, at some point you're gonna have to look in the mirror and identify yourself with not being a Division I starter, and just play your role, whether that be on a scout team. Do whatever you have to do to get your education. If you're able to get a couple of dollars out of it, get you some money and get prepared for your future. Like, they're already talking about cats like Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's in his second year in the NFL, doing very good, drafted in the first round, but he still doesn't make more money than Jeremiah Smith. Why are they leaving school early? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point too, T1, because these guys, I think they want to go ahead and get their clock started to get to their second NFL check, so, or NFL contract. So that
But
might
that
be why
first
some
and
of these
second-
guys are leaving
That
early.
first and second NIL deal is life changing. If you can go, I mean, and this is just to me how ignorant this whole thing is. Because now, when I saw them put this in place, it would have made you think, okay, now this player can go ahead and stay in school for the 4 years. They can get a degree and they can make more money than their parents combined. Probably even their families, their whole entire families. So, like, there's no need to be jumping and rushing to get to the NFL, even if you are looking for that second contract. Guess what? Right now, you're making $1-2 million, and depending on your stature, where you have a Jeremiah Smith who's making $3-4 million a year. I mean, you're not gonna make that at the next level. Make as much as you can, get your degree, because the NFL isn't gonna be there forever. And, you know, make smart decisions. I'm just really not seeing a lot of smart decisions being made and there's a whole lot of money being thrown around.
Did you have something to add to that, SEC, Sean?
I mean, it's 100% spot on. I think we're all from the old school on this a little bit, where we hate the way it's going, where it's just give me money, give me money. I mean, Underwood, what, he went to Michigan, he was going to go to LSU, and then all of a sudden it was like $10 million to go to Michigan. The kid ain't never played a game, and you're gonna give him a $10 million check? What are we doing?
12 million, Sean. 12 million.
Okay,
Don't short. You short him 2 million. That's a lot of money. Us three could share that and be sitting pretty good and won't be worried about nothing for a very long time.
Right. That's my. But we're giving these kids. Arch Manning, $6 million or something is what I saw for him. He never played a damn game.
Yeah, how much is it? No, you know how much.
Well, most of that is endorsement deals, though. It's not.
Yeah, but 6 million is 6 million.
Right.
Yeah, it's not from the university, and to his credit though, and you're right, SEC Sean, that's a lot of money to be given a guy who has not even played a real snap. He's decided that since he didn't play so well, but he's decided he's going to take a pay cut because he doesn't feel like he should be making that kind of money from the university. Now, of course, his endorsements are going to be there, so he's going to make a pretty penny regardless. The thing that concerns me about all of this is NIL has been going on for what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything to really fix it. Like,
Nothing.
the NCAA was supposed to get ahead of this thing a long time ago, but they were too greedy. They didn't want to share. So now we got this clusterfuck. And now people like us are sitting here with common sense are saying, why is this thing so out of control like this? We saw it coming, right? They had to see it coming too. Why is this thing still out of control like it is, man? Why hasn't it been fixed? Why hasn't somebody say, listen, we got to put some guardrails up on this sucker, man, because shit is flying up the track. What are they going to do, man? What are they going to do?
They've tried, but they don't know. They're going to try to now do this where your roster can be like 22 million or something. I'm like, what? 22 million for a college football team? Where are we at? What? I don't get it. I don't like it. I mean, something needs to be changed. No, you don't need to have a dang salary cap. What you need to do is put some restrictions on this crap with all this transfer and bouncing and moving and jumping and crying. Well, I'm a 5-star quarterback. I need $4 million. You're a 5-star quarterback that looks good in a pair of shorts and a T-shirt. I ain't seen you in pads against the D-line from Ohio State or Georgia yet. Until I see that, you ain't getting $4 million. I love Kirby Smart, what he said. We'll give you a check once you earn it.
That's right. Yeah, once you earn it. Let's welcome our man Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10 to the show. Right now, we're talking about the whole clusterfuck that's going on with NIL guys hitting the transfer portal. The fact that the NCAA or no one else affiliated with the NCAA has really stepped in. And we hear a lot of coaches saying a lot of good stuff. We hear a lot of people just in college football, period, saying a lot of good stuff. Why isn't the people who put these things in place, why aren't they doing what they need to do to get this thing fixed? Why wasn't it fixed from the beginning? Why hasn't it been fixed after year 1 or year 2 or year 3? Things seem to be getting worse. What's your thoughts, Mossberg?
Man, it's good to see everybody, man. Thankful. First of all, man, appreciate y'all having me. Good to see everybody. It's like you said, man, the cluster, man, is wild, and it's like pin the tail on the donkey's ass. You know, who's going to do that at the end of the day? You know, Kirby Smart said it like SEC Sean said. I'm not going to, pay you unless you come and you produce. You know, I'm almost on the same boat as Kirby Smart. You know, you got to come in and you got to perform. as we see with Michigan, 10 million, and a year later, possibility of him gone is possible, very possible. So I think this stuff with this portal, they got to get a hold of it, man. We've been talking about it before it started, during the time, we continue to talk about it. Somebody got to get a hold of this up top before it get out of hand, even more than what it is. And you're gonna have guys that you think gonna play at the next level, giving it up at the end of their college career, sitting back with a big bag after some transfer years and making all this crazy money. So they got to do something about it fast.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get back on this quarterback topic and let's welcome my man, old Texas Tech man, 9144. He said, "Hi guys, yes, Texas Tech is still going after Sorsby, but if he goes pro, Tech is looking at Kenny Minchey. I would like to see Kenny Minchey get his chance to actually play some college football, and I believe he's going to get it next year." Let me ask y'all this question. We got several teams that are out there that are going to be looking for a quarterback, Texas Tech being one of them, Miami, Oregon, LSU. What's the best destination for any of these guys to be considered to go to? I mean, this might be something I didn't even mention.
Yeah, it's
probably Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana is one.
India is a great destination. I think even Oregon, with the recruit class they got, knowing Decoria Moore is probably, I believe Moore is going to the NFL. I think, man, it's like a free agent bag in college football, and you really can get paid, which is crazy. We're used to seeing this in the NBA, but we seeing it on a college level, and they still got bowl games left to play. So, man, I agree, man. That Indiana spot is very, very lucrative right now. With Mendoza leaving, I think that's a spot to get to. That's a good point, T1. It's good to see you as well this evening.
No doubt. Likewise.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Indiana pick as well. I think Oregon might be one of the top spots as well. Seeing that Dan Lanning really has that thing running pretty well over there, way over there in Oregon. They've been able to pick back-to-back good quarterbacks that they've gotten out of the portal. They've been able to get to the college football playoffs back-to-back years after missing it the last year that we had only 4 teams. I like both of those Big Ten schools as destinations for some of these guys over Miami or LSU. I think Texas Tech is also a good destination for one of them as well, because I think they're going to be the top team in the Big 12 probably for the next decade, because they actually understand what it's going to take to keep on winning the Big 12. They actually got the recipe for success over there out of the teams that are in that Big 12.
With Penn State, knowing what Penn State have coming, even though they do have the hometown kid, I'm glad, as Zay mentioned, North Carolina, would Penn State be a good place to, get to and kind of solidify yourself as a quarterback in some of these transfers trying to make a big jump in the conference as well?
When you look at the history of quarterbacks at Penn State, from what old man Texas from Texas Tech, old Texas Tech man 9144 saying, I think Rocco Beck from Iowa State followed his coach there at Penn State is probably their best move, because he's the prototypical Penn State quarterback. You've never seen Penn State have one of those really dynamic throwing quarterbacks, one of those really, really, truly athletic quarterbacks that play in their system. They're more of a run-oriented team, which is what Matt Campbell wants to do, and utilizes tight ends a lot, which is something that we've seen historically from Penn State. So I think that Rocco Beck is a good fit for what Matt Campbell wants to do, and he's probably going to go there because he hit the portal as well. I think he's going to end up there as well. You know something, FanDuel Zaya? North Carolina has really become a spot for a quarterback to go to now that they got Petrino as their offensive coordinator. Because in game, that guy's ability to scheme up some stuff in game as an offensive coordinator is very, very good. So they're going to find them a quarterback, man, and that's going to be a good destination for somebody, for sure. Let's welcome our man Post Game of the Post Game 86 podcast to the show. How you feeling, Post Game?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Y'all been in here cooking. Yeah, I'm fresh off the clock, man. You know, they can only hold you for so many hours. So, what to do with y'all?
Man,
What's up, folks?
We good. Give us your thoughts on NIL, the transfer portal, and the fact that they haven't gotten this thing under control after 4 years. Or do you think that they got something in the works that's going to get this thing together so that we don't have players chasing dollars and cents?
Well, I'm pro players getting paid. I just got to say that off bat. What I have an issue with, and it sounds similar to the same issues that y'all have, is the ridiculousness. Like all these quarterbacks is jumping from team to team, like I don't want to say it on here, but
Prostitute.
but
Not an illegal word.
Fuck your talk, Post.
But the cookies where the kids can get them.
Go ahead.
Prostitute.
Yeah, go ahead and cook.
Real work for money.
yeah, man, it's a whole lot of that in South Bend, but that's a different story. Yeah, man, the amount of quarterbacks and the level of quarterback play hitting that portal trying to get a dollar is kind of crazy. I think the NCAA needs to get on top of this. Somebody needs to get on top of this. But then that makes me wonder if they want to get on top of it. Do they want to see it crash and burn? I don't know. But it's ridiculous. They got to get it together. Like I like what y'all said about Kirby Smart saying, yeah, we'll pay you, but you got to earn it first. Again, I'm all for players getting paid. they should have been getting paid years ago, but they gotta get something going with this because it is getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about Marcel Reed and his performance? Should he consider hitting the transfer portal, or should Texas A&M look to the portal for a quarterback? Is he the guy that's going to be able to lead Texas A&M to a national title or even back to the college football playoffs?
Man, that's a great question. Me personally, this is just my own opinion, man. I don't know. Watching him this year, it seemed like it was kind of the same as last year. Just my opinion. I think they could have done way better. I think it's time for them to find another quarterback. I think it's time for him to step into the portal. Sometimes I think it's just the right system that fits some of these young QBs. I think you got to find that system that fits you. And I think we're seeing that in the case of the opposing team that they played in Miami. The system worked for Beck in that game, so some of these things, I think that's what we have to look at. He's just not that quarterback that fits that system. They want to run the ball. You're not going to see his full skill set with a backfield that heavy. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I believe he's only a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that their offensive coordinator, and correct me if I'm wrong, will be out next season.
Yeah.
So maybe they can find a offensive coordinator to kind of cater his skills and what they want to do, and for him to be more successful. He might have a maturity problem because if I'm not mistaken, People saw him out partying after that game. Did y'all see that?
Nah, I
didn't
ain't see
see
that.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it, to each his own, but if I just lost in the college football playoff and I played that bad, there's no way in the world I'm going out to party. I'm locking in and trying to fix what I need fixed, learn new things to help me be a better player. But I don't know. I think Klein, the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M, is on his way out the door. And if that's the case, they need to find an offensive coordinator to mold him. That somebody who can use his skills because he has skills. I don't know if it's a mental thing with Marcel Reed. So hopefully they can find an OC to get him going. But he definitely looks like he has a maturity problem.
Yeah, I feel like pretty much any quarterback could possibly help A&M get back to the playoffs. Now, winning a national championship, that's a completely different story. So, yeah, sure, he can help them get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I was kind of up in the air about that question, man, because I like Marcel Reed, and I did see him make some improvements all the way up into the last two games of the season in comparison to when he got thrown into action last year as a redshirt freshman, this year being a redshirt sophomore. Those first 11 games, you got to see him, do some things. Now, of course, he threw those interceptions early in that South Carolina game, but bounced back because you could see the maturity, and he was able to lead his team back to a victory. But then they play against their rival the last game of the season, and he throws two picks at crucial moments in the game, in that fourth quarter when they got a chance to drive down the field and win. One he threw when they were in the red zone. The other one, they was across the 50-yard line, and he was making another boneheaded mistake. That ball should not have been thrown. And if you watch the Miami game, the two interceptions that he threw, you gotta have matured enough or advanced enough in your game to where you don't make those same mistakes. And he did it twice in that game, of course, on the last drive to allow Miami to seal the victory. You just can't have those kind of mistakes this late in the season if you are progressing and you're maturing. And he just looked like the last two games he might have regressed a little bit. It could have been the stage. It could have been the competition that he was playing against because both of those teams that they played are no slouches. But I think he should have played better. Now that he's going to get him another offensive coordinator, I think he should stay there. I think they should really try to hone in on his skills. He'll get Craver back. He's going to lose Concepcion, but I think they got some players in place that they should be able to make some things happen with Marcel Reed. But he really has to develop and not make those critical mistakes like we've seen him make throughout this football season, especially in those last two games.
Yeah.
Are there any other quarterbacks you think should consider hitting the portal that hasn't announced yet that they're going to hit the portal? Is there anybody else out there? Because I thought Aaron Nolan hadn't hit the portal yet, but when I looked it up, he's already hit the portal because he was going to be one that I was going to mention. Is there anybody else?
Hit it. He just hit the portal.
Yeah, he just hit the portal. Yeah.
Well, I'm quite sure King Holtz from Ohio State is going to hit it after our playoff run. Not sure about, any of these other quarterbacks on any of these playoff teams, but I'm quite sure he sees the writing on the wall. And I would hopefully, I'm quite sure Coach Day wouldn't mind if Hartline took King Holtz down to USF with him, because Hartline just did some bogus stuff that doesn't sit well with me, and I'm just throwing it out there. He offered Jeremiah Smith's little brother. So You know, and that's when you get the conflict of interest when you keep a person on a staff that's going to a whole nother school, and now they hollering at your recruits and all of this and all of that. So, you know, that's just part of this. That's just a whole part of this whole transfer portal thing and the coaching carousel, and you know, it's the game. There's no love. There's no loyalty.
If you don't mind, let me ask T1 a question because
Yes, sir.
I remember Aaron Nolan coming out of high school. He had a lot of hype.
Yeah.
With you being Ohio State and having some insight, what was the situation where was it a situation where the other quarterbacks were just better? Was he not developing? What was the situation that led to him not being able to get on the field at Ohio State?
Just insane. That young man came in with an IQ of Einstein, and he moved right up. He moved right up the board. He probably could have been backup. He actually could have been a backup, and I actually feel like he could have led us to a national championship last year as a true freshman. They say the kid came on campus and the kid was your ideal quarterback, very high IQ, very accurate, you know, just a smart overall quarterback with a very cool and calm demeanor about himself that you would like at that quarterback position. So when Sane came, that was the end for Aaron Nolan, and he did come with a whole lot of praise, a whole lot of hype. As I was saying before you tuned in, he was the heir apparent. It was Air Nolan. You know what I mean? They gave him this Michael Jordan title before he played it down to college football. Now look at the young fella. Man, it's humbling. I'm quite sure it's humbling, and in some cases, it can be sad and depressing for these young men.
You know, for me, I'm like one of the QBs that pops out to me, since we mentioned QBs with the portal, is Hoover from TCU. I watched him a lot. I think when we look at a lot of these QBs, I think he might be one of the most NFL ready in his transfer portal. I've watched his skill set. I think he's a great QB. So I really got my hope on him, you know, to see what he's going to do as far as in this transfer portal. Whoever get him, they're getting, I think, an already built NFL type quarterback. But then you get to nurture, you get to work with him, and you parent offensive coordinators with some of these quarterbacks that's looking to make that move to the next level, but still keeping that program in a condition to flourish when that QB leaves that comes in from the portal. So that's an eye, you know, for me to watch is definitely seeing where Josh Hoover goes from TCU.
Well, fellas, I hope we don't see another quarterback enter the transfer portal because it's already like 50.
Yeah.
But I'll tell y'all this. One guy who should have transferred before the season started was the quarterback from Baylor, Sawyer Robertson. That kid, if you ask me, just on eye test, that kid is more talented than a Heisman winner. If he played for the right team, I believe he would be in the playoffs right now. But Baylor is just not a team that can get you where you need to go. And if I was him, I would have hit the transfer portal last year and found a better home.
Yeah, to go back to Marcel Reed, Doug is saying, I remember a fan saying Marcel's not a championship quarterback about a month ago, and FanDuel Zay is saying he remembers seeing that too. And FanDuel Zay also said the question about Marcel Reed is if he does hit the portal or not is can they find somebody better or do they have better already on their roster? And from talking to SEC Sean, he feels like they don't have anybody better on the roster, and he doesn't feel like there's going to be anybody out there better in the portal than what Marcel Reed is. Now, we can say Sam Levitt. We can probably even say Dylan Raiola or one of those guys, but do we necessarily know? because we already know what Marcel Reed is, and we already know what he's done at Texas A&M. He led them to 11-2 season this year. Last year, I think they went 9-4, something like that. Had a chance to make it to the SEC championship game had they beat Texas that last game of the season the year before. So he's been a good quarterback record-wise for them. Can he make the next step is probably his next move. Is can he make the next step to become a championship caliber quarterback for the Texas A&M Aggies? And I think at this point, that's probably what they're looking at. Can this guy get us there with the skill set that he has, and can we bring somebody in who can hone in on his skills and allow him to be able to lead us where we want to go? Before we get into those other questions, let's look at old Texas Tech man's 91-44. His scenario right here. He said, guys, about this ACC 4, SEC 4, Big 12 4, all of the major conferences getting 4 teams in, no wild card, makes the Power 4 team schedule at least 2 Power 4 schools on their schedule. If they're going to be able to play in there with these big schools, these Power 4 schools in the playoffs, do you feel like they should have to schedule at least 2 Power 4 teams on their schedule?
At the very least, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, at the least for sure.
And you better be them played with them.
Yeah.
Don't have them on your schedule and both of them blew you out by 30.
Can't be no cakewalks. No
Yeah,
backfires.
I agree with the fellas. Absolutely. They need to schedule like that. And they need to look good scheduling like that. And if they are going to make the playoffs, they need to be, one of the requirements that needs to happen is they need to be ranked in the top 10 to 12, along with playing that type of a schedule. I don't want to see a situation where they just get in the top 25. You know, they barely in the top 25. They haven't played none of the power programs. Nah, they need to rewrite that whole thing.
Yeah.
I really do believe that, and I'm going to stick with this, because from what I've seen so far, even though James Madison put up over 500 yards on Oregon, a lot of people say that came at garbage time, but on their first 2 drives, they had almost 150 yards of total offense on their first 2 drives of their 506 yards of total offense. So I think that James Madison team was good for the group of 5 or group of 6, however you want to say it. But I think they should have their own thing. I think that it should become a time where they say, okay, we're going to have to throw some money at this thing so that we can help them get the TV ratings or whatever they need to get. But they need to have their own thing, because they can't compete with these Power 4 schools. Because when you think about the 12-team playoff, and you think about those 10 teams that are ahead of them, there's no way in hell they beat none of them 10 teams. None of them. They're just not physical enough. They just don't have enough talent on those teams to be able to compete with them. So I think that they need to fix it to where you got to get your own thing. If you want to be over here, you got to land in the top 12, and you got to at least schedule 2 Power 4 schools on your schedule so we can really see what you're made of. And if you can compete with them and you can be ranked in the top 12, then we know you can compete in this 12-team playoffs. Otherwise, they need to have their own thing.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing to be able to see those the highest ranked group of 5 schools playing in a 12-team playoff of their own. I would have loved to see Tulane and James Madison play.
Man,
I would have loved to see Army, Navy, whichever one of them that was good enough to play in their own playoff in the group of 5 schools. Man, I would have loved to have seen that. I think North Texas would have been a good draw too. So I think they should have their own thing, man. In my opinion.
Hey, check this out. Check this out too, real quick. Something I heard them say on, it may have been ESPN or something, and it made a whole lot of sense. They said if you just looked at these bowl games that have played thus far and just looked at them as a play-in game, although they did not have the exact play-in games correct, because I would have liked to have seen a Notre Dame in one of these play-in games along with the Texas and, possibly even the Michigan. I would have loved to see these teams in a play-in game, but these final 8, these 4 games that they have right here, now who's gonna disagree with us having some beautiful games right here for these college football playoffs in these next 4 games? I have zero complaints about these 4 games that they have going down here, coming up here within the next week.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I think we in store for some great football. You can't argue with the teams. Obviously, y'all know I have my reservations about my Irish, but it is what it is. I'm not mad at the college football playoffs and the games it has produced, and what we in store for is going to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah. Let's talk about this next question. Is Aaron Nolan, in your opinion, a power 4 quarterback at the highest level of the top echelon teams in the power 4, or is he more of a lower level like a Syracuse or Boston College or a team like that? Or do you think he can compete up there with the big boys in the power 4?
Man, I think he got passed up on the depth chart, didn't he? Both of these quarterbacks that transferred up at Ohio State, who came to Ohio State with a whole lot of fanfare, 4-star, 5-star quarterbacks. You have Brown, who ended up going out the Cal, and he couldn't grab a hold of that starting position. And then why Aaron Nolans went to South Carolina to go sit behind Sellers made absolutely zero sense when your name was big enough for you to go somewhere and actually start. So I don't know. We have to remember that not all of these high school All-Americans pan out at this next level. There's more times to where you have a 3-star athlete who turns out to be great, opposed to that 4-star or that 5-star. So, we're just seeing it more. Now you just see you just see a lot more of these big names just not panning out and not being what we thought they were. Just like Hicks for Ohio State came in as a 5-star linebacker, and he's had trouble seeing the field, and he's going into a senior season. So, yeah, I don't know. He's gonna have to probably take a step down. I mean, if he's gonna have to go get to a Toledo or a OU or something like that. That's just my opinion.
I think some of them we got to look at the work ethic. Are some of them willing to put that work in when they get to where they are, respectively? You coming in as a 4 or 5-star, you might not be used to having to put that work in that you'll have to put in a room when you got other 4 or 5-star quarterbacks in that same room vying for that same position. And you get to another program, and guess what? They've already been working. You got to come in and outwork, this other quarterback that might be a 3-star that's seen the opportunity, and he's not going to let nobody just come in and take it. So I think lower level Big Ten, it might just be the best for him. And some quarterbacks, regardless, you might be a high school quarterback, you might be a college quarterback, or you just might be that quarterback to get to the next level. And I think in these few years, we're seeing just that case. Some just high school, some college, but some do make it and get their name called on Sundays, which is a great thing as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, fellas. I don't know. I don't have much insight on the Aaron Nolan situation, but I will say that that was probably one of the most talented quarterback rooms in the nation. So, so I mean, I don't know what was holding them back. I know T1 explained, but I don't know because we've seen situations where one man's trash is the next man's jewel. Maybe he goes to a situation and he thrives. Maybe he is good for a lower level school like a Syracuse. I'm not sure, but I know I've seen Kurt Warner go from bagging groceries to what he did in the NFL. So who knows? The right situation can change the outlook of a lot of these quarterbacks. We just don't know yet.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, man, I think that if I was him, and the sad thing about it is he's probably going to have to transfer again. He's going to land somewhere this year, and he's probably, unless he gets to a good situation or a situation where he can really show how talented he is to the NFL scouts, he's probably going to have to transfer somewhere else. Because if he goes to a lower level school who is not very good, who's probably going to end up with a record, especially if he goes to a lower level Power Four school, is probably going to have a 5-7 record, a 6-6 record, a 4-8 record, and he's probably going to have to transfer again, and hopefully to get at a bigger school like what you're seeing with some of these guys that's on that list. I just really feel for the guy because if I was him, I was Aaron Nolan, I would not have gone to South Carolina. I already sat on the bench at Ohio State my freshman year. When I'm going into my sophomore year, I want to go somewhere and play. I would have went somewhere that was a lower level school, showed out this past season, and then try to go on to a bigger school after they see my skill set. So now he's set for 2 years, and nobody has even seen what he really can do outside of his high school stats and stuff, his high school film. So he's really behind the 8 ball at this point, man. And I really hate that for that young man. I just hope that he lands at a good spot who can use his skill set and he can show the world how talented he is. But I don't know if he's going to get that opportunity or not. We got to wait and see where he lands. But I hope he gets a good opportunity somewhere. I really do. Do you think these quarterbacks that are in the portal are in the portal more about the money or a better destination to try to compete for a championship?
Man, I think the goal is to win a championship. I think you're starting to see. I mean, it's crazy to have the comparison, even though they total two different sports, the NBA and college football, starting to seem like the off season. That's what we looking forward to. It's starting to seem like destination is where you're gonna get paid and where you can possibly win a championship. But at the college level, I think understanding with the money, you know, are you as hungry to get to that next level anymore? All this money thrown out there, I think that's another thing way to look at it. Like it sucks, but I think they need to make the right decision. I think some of them chasing the money more so than chasing the championship and just going off that name. And, I mean, for those that's not going off the name, I think are reaping those benefits. Carson Beck, we've seen yet again he's still here, doing what he do. So for those that's doing what they do, I think it's a good thing, but it's just tough.
Yeah, Moss. I think you probably get a different answer for each individual. It's on the it's different strokes for different folks. Some people are looking for the money and the opportunity. Some people already had the money. They're looking for the opportunity. Uh, so some people just want the money. So, um, but I look at a guy in a portal like Kenny Minchie. Uh, Listen, Kenny Minchie, I think is sorely being slept on.
Yeah,
That's a kid who was beat out. A lot of people felt like he should have won the job, and now he have an opportunity to go start somewhere else. I guarantee you, a kid like that is looking to carve his name in the college football in a plate, be a starter. So it's just situational. It's all subjective.
agree. Yeah, let me exactly what you said, like, because I don't want people to think that, oh no, I'm against. Nah, I totally agree exactly how you said it. Some just, you in the tough quarterback room, and we see what that room was like, man. You want to go play football, respectively, seeing, Carr and Minchie in the same room, as a brother, I'm sure he like, bro, I get it. I understand it. I respect your decision. They footballers, so yeah, I definitely wholeheartedly agree with you too as well with that.
Yeah, I think each individual player has a different situation. Some of them are looking for a better opportunity to compete for a championship. Some of them are going from a school where they play really, really well, and now they're trying to cash in on some dollars, along with playing in a better, on a better team with a better chance of making it to the college football playoffs. So I think it's a combination of both as well. Hopefully, these guys can land where they can really get what they need out of the decision that they're making. I really like this point that FanDuel Zaya just made, though. He said quarterbacks get developed better at smaller schools and less talented Power Four schools because they gotta make throws in the tighter windows. Because when you're playing at some of these schools that are lower level, and you're playing against more talented opposition, you really get a chance to hone in on your skills because you're playing against some of the best of the best. And those windows are super duper tight, bro. I think that's a really, really good point that you just made, Isaiah. Hopefully, I did it some justice because I think that's what you're saying. Hopefully, I'm on the right track with how you think because I know you steal a lot of my ideas from me. I'm just trying to get a little something back to you.
Zay got to be thinking about Flacco with that too, because I just thought about Joe Flacco and where he was and watching him, in his college days, being at that small school, putting some of them passes in them tight windows. It just instantly made me think about that. So yeah, I agree. And we seen, of course, again the comparison. BYU having the number one overall basketball player. Who's going to do something like that on the college football level? Shock the world, surprise us, give us something to talk about even more than what we do. Because I think it's interesting. I think it'll be a great thing for the college sport to see a top player go to a small school. We used to do it on a video game. We used to create a player, take him to the smaller school, try to bring him a championship. You know, let's see somebody actually do it in real life. Be that number one overall recruit, top five recruit. Go to that small prestige school and bring them something special. It would be something special to see. I would
Well,
like
I,
to do it.
yeah, yeah, that would be exciting to do, but I think it's a lot different for college basketball than football because college basketball, if I'm a top player and I choose to go to a smaller school, I can affect the game in so many facets. I can affect it ball handling, scoring, rebounding, on defense, my leadership. On football, if you're a top quarterback and you go to a small school, that offensive line might end your career early. You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying. It would be exciting to see some players go to smaller schools and see if they can turn those programs around. But it's a lot different with basketball than football, in my opinion.
Yeah, just to touch a little bit more on the whole Kenny Minchie situation, King Ho situation at Ohio State, and Aaron Nolan. The fact that Minchie and King Host actually got an opportunity to compete for the starting job at those two high level schools really puts them light years ahead of Aaron Nolan because Aaron Nolan, we knew was going to be sitting behind Lenore Sellers. We knew he was not going to be starting. But King Holtz and Minchie both had a chance to compete for the starting job and took it all the way up to the wire, where some people felt like either one of those guys could have been the starter. Now, after seeing the quarterbacks who finally started play, we're like, it looks like their teams made the right decision. We didn't really get a chance to see what Minchie could do or King Holtz, but the fact that we got to see what CJ Carr did and we got to see what Julian Sain did, we know that their teams made really good choices, starting them as their quarterback this past season.
100%.
Anything else y'all want to add about this whole quarterback transfer portal riches that's out there before we wrap up?
Nah, just a quick thing, man. Just make sure y'all check on y'all's people, man. Appreciate those in your corner every day, man. You never know when you're going through something, what that corner do for you, man. I appreciate you guys and what I'm going through. I needed this. I was thirsty to get on. My bad, Zay, I didn't get on yesterday, but came on and got on for us. But definitely appreciate your people as we did about a month ago. Check on your people, man. You never know what somebody going through. Just prayers out to anybody out there that need them, including myself, my family. But other than that, man, I just appreciate you guys, man. Everybody in this group. Everybody that's tuned in watching this, y'all know what we do, man. We just try to come with bangers every time we tap on the screen. So we appreciate y'all. Y'all the main reason we do what we do, and we just gonna continue to do what we do each and every day.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, go ahead, post game. My bad.
My bad. I don't have nothing on the subject, but I just wanted to shout out everybody in the comments, all the listeners, all the subscribers. We appreciate y'all. We keep y'all keep us going. Like, share, subscribe. Like button is free. It helps us all out tremendously. So look out for some young, hungry brothers, man, and hit that like button.
Yeah, definitely hit that like button. Man, I appreciate y'all jumping on with me on short notice, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that's out there in the chat as well. Thank you for supporting us. And we'll see y'all sometime tomorrow, because we're going to do something again tomorrow, probably at 7:45. So tune in, and we might do something earlier than that too. Let's see if T1 want to add something else. You got anything to add, T1?
I don't. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I got disconnected.
Nah, man, you came in right on time, man, because you know what time it is, man. It's Level Up Sports. You got WTP up top. You got City League TV with the phone ringing. That's T1. Post game. You got Zay in here. We're going to get that new channel with Zay coming. One Take Zay. He got some things he's been working on. Parlay Poet Blitzberg. Of course, SEC Sean, man. City League TV, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure y'all tune into the lives, man. We're going to be bringing y'all high school basketball streams, and we're going to be at another banger this Friday. So make sure y'all stay locked in and stay loaded. T1, man, please take us out with that special gift. As he always say, you there, T?
He might be on the phone.
Might be on the phone, man. As he always tell us, man, we was in the building, WTP Sports dudes, man, and we out the building. We appreciate y'all, man.
I'm hitting the portal. I'm hitting the portal.